stars, and that's who we are. We are voices. There's nothing to fear. Explode in your rear. Feel our voices.
Hello, Vorons!
Hello! Welcome back to Voice of the Republic. This is Ed.
Mike.
And Carl.
Excellent. So yeah, day 2, we are talking back to the 80s. The 80s movies that you must see. You must see.
Yeah. Especially y'all's too.
Dude, I still agree that yesterday's Short Circuit, I think it is a must-see, because I used to watch every time, especially Short Circuit 2 came up on HBO when I was a kid, watched it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this show needs to be a little bit longer for this particular topic. But go ahead. Go ahead. Don't let me.
Yeah, we can definitely do another one in the future, but because I'm sure our listeners will have some great ideas about this. As you know, you can ask us anything about anything, and next week we're going to be doing Ask the Experts, and for 4 days in a row, we will be the experts on everything you can bring to us. We will know and answer, and that's all I'm going to say.
And if we don't know it, we'll make it up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're goddamn right. Have you ever noticed that rednecks can tell you about your life and the way you should have done shit? I think it's because they've already done it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same precedent we're putting forth here.
So, like, I've destroyed my life, you guys. I've destroyed it. There's no turning back.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've got 32 years of experience of destroying life. I can tell you how to avoid it.
I've got a
That's
decade.
right.
I've got a decade on his ass, and he's got a beard. So let's come on, babies. Let's get here. So this is some valuable information.
We know what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is actually. You would think that we had public service work that we needed to do for some sort of crime we've committed. You're gonna learn some shit.
That's besides the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you want to know about how to avoid these life pitfalls, avoid love pitfalls, problems
and
at
public
work,
service,
public service, science, car repair, electrical engineering,
TV VCR repair, jockets, tedder, anything covered in Blue Star ointment, we've got you.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Compressors, air conditioners, and refrigeration units.
Make money at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Flip houses. Everyone's doing it.
That's right. Lose weight in 10 days or less.
Don't even get me started.
Right. So, call us up at 407-409-8749. You got 2 minutes to come up with one question.
Yeah, just one question.
Yeah, one question.
Hell, most of y'all that listen know my cell phone number anyway, so I'll be getting the questions, so send them.
No, don't call Mike.
Call that number instead.
Call that number. 407-409-8749. Or you can email us at voiceofrep@gmail.com.
There's that.
We definitely want to hear from you. No question will be turned down.
Yes. But that's next week.
Yes, that's for next week, so pause and call now.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
But after you hear our next picks for must-see 80s movies.
Right.
Yeah. So, I've got a classic.
Oh, I bet you do.
I do. I don't know what you've heard, but I've got a classic. And it's funny because it's a movie that I never considered to be a Christmas movie up until recently. It's just one of the greatest movies, one of the greatest action movies. And it's iconic, and it's Die Hard, 1988. Now, there was a lot of action movies that came out of the 80s, and there's a lot of formula. But this one kind of made its own formula and then was aped much poorly based on the Die Hard success formula. Like, I could say all of Michael Bay's movies kind of go with this format as a base and then just build and get shitty. But it all comes back to Die Hard.
Yeah.
I agree, and it breaks my heart that film was in 1988. It feels like it was last year.
It's like, yeah, it looks dated style-wise, like fashion-wise, but fuck, man, you can just jump in at any age and just dig that movie.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most quotable movies that come out that decade.
Yeah, he's one of the coolest people I've ever met in Last Boy Scout. It even bled over into not as successful. His coolness, his absolute sheer and utter coolness. I love him. I love him.
Yeah. Charisma on both sides. Alan Rickman.
Oh, yeah. Alan Rickman is my spirit animal. He's amazing.
That was so cool that you mentioned that.
Cool. All right, Carl.
Mine, I really, really wanted to go with Buckaroo Banzai. But I've talked about Buckaroo Banzai so much on like Kneel Before Pod, and I think I've even mentioned it here on Voice of the Republic a couple times. So I went with like the thing that I think also was in the same vein, which was kind of these like Doc Savage knockoff things where you get these guys that are just like really good, like, and they're just they're just kind of good at everything. And it was Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. And the whole basis of this movie is there's a cop that gets recruited by this secret branch of the government. And they fake his death, and then they turn him into like this ultimate like spy machine. And like he gets to the point that like his Korean martial arts master teaches him how to run across water. You know what I mean? It's like it's just crazy shit, man. And it's like, and there's this big action sequence on like the Statue of Liberty, and Wilford Brimley is there. And, you know, it's like it's just a perfect 80s movie. It's like it was kind of this 80s thing, and they don't really do it so much anymore, but like I said, it's like a Doc Savage character, this guy that's just like, he can do no wrong. He's just like one man against the world, you know. It's like everything else has kind of gone like you said, like the Bruce Willis sort of Die Hard route, where he's like an action, like I'm a regular dude, but like I can still kill the shit out of everyone. Whereas this one is just like this guy that's not a regular dude. He's just crazy, really good at what he does. So
he's not a regular dude, but he's very understated.
Yeah.
It's very, very understated. I'm glad you went with this one over Buckaroo Banzai. I really am. I think you made a very conservative choice.
It's funny because this movie was based on actually a book series called The Destroyer, which is like, it is exactly kind of the same thing, except not tongue-in-cheek at all. It's like, this is we take it very seriously, this action agent bullshit, but you love Remo more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really good movie. And it's one of those ones that, like, I think that Buckaroo Banzai gets all the attention, but there's definitely that same sort of feel. It's not quite as random and just kind of surrealistic as Buckaroo Banzai is at time, but it's not far off, you know. And
yeah, it's whimsical, but it's still grounded in reality.
Yeah,
there's a grit. There's a grit there.
I've always wanted to make another, like, a sequel to it. Like, if I ever, like, got my way and I became, like, a famous writer or something of movies, I would make, like, Remo Williams' The Adventure Continues, and I'd bring, like, Fred Ward back as, like, the Wilford Brimley role as, like, the guy that ran the agency, and Remo Williams has become kind of, like, this code name that, like, every time that, like they replace him, it's Remo Williams, you know. It's like, so it's kind of like James Bond, like, you know, it's like it's different actors, but it's always Remo Williams. But in this case, it's just like it's another guy that we recruit another guy and give him plastic surgery. His name's Remo Williams, and it's like
Remo.
It's always the guy. So
that's so funny.
Carl, I hate to tell you this, buddy, but you're already that guy. You can already write that movie.
I could.
Guess what? Go ahead and write the movie.
I should, and then just start sending it to people. Eventually, it'll get made.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's just got to get options. You'll get paid for it.
Well, that's all you need.
Yeah. What do you got, Mike?
I'm going in the complete other direction with this one. And this one feels as though it's not quite 80s, so this is going to kind of break the 80s vibe. So Ed's shirt's got to go, because at this point we were wearing like probably wearing neon, maybe a little bit of slicing through it. I'm talking about The Little Mermaid. And
what year was that?
I would say 89.
Yes, that is correct.
Good enough.
89. It is. However, there's an 8 in it. The reason why is because, just like the two films, I wanted to go with something that just made a huge impact. I feel like Disney upon the success of this one, and for as awesome as it is, to this day, I can sing every song. Every film was set to that standard, and I felt as though even the DreamWorks stuff and all of this, everything has been bounced off of Little Mermaid, and I think it's a definite. You have to go see it. You have to love it. I think you will enjoy it. I think you will love it.
Yeah.
You know, I never saw it, but I have very fond memories because there was a makeout session involved.
Oh, Ed.
I never got to see the rest of the movie, and I kind of don't want to.
Well, here's the worst part, though, is I was about 7 years old when it first came out.
Yeah.
And kind of along the way of Ed, I had the hugest crush on Ariel. But the thing is, though, is like
I didn't make out with my TV. It was a girl.
Well, but listen, I was 7 years old, so that was perfectly acceptable, right? Because she's like she's like 13, 14 in the movie or something like that. She's a little bit older than me, but still, it wasn't creepy. But now I'm like 30 some, and I still have a crush on Ariel. But like in my head, she grew up with me. But then you go and like everyone's like, oh look, it's Ariel, and then you're just like, oh now I feel creepy because she's still clearly like in every way she's drawn in like the Disney stuff and everything, she's still just like basically a kid, and I was like, oh now I feel creepy because I still have that little section.
Carl, when you come here to Orlando, dude, I want to take you to Disney, and even though it's $100 and some to get in for one day to one park, which I hate, I have to tell you, there is a live Little Mermaid event. I'm probably saying way more than I should, and I get choked up every time they start. When she comes to the edge of that rock and she's just like part of your world, and I understand the whole like wanting to be more than you are, and this isn't enough for me. There's more to me than this. I swear to you, I think you will feel it. I get goose chills. I got goose chills talking about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, and here's the thing, and Mike is really hitting on something also with this did set up every single Disney movie for like the next like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, it was especially with like they're taking kind of like a public domain license, so like, you know, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, Pocahontas, Beauty and the Beast, all these things. They take these movies, they take these stories, and they set them to really, really good, catchy music.
Right.
You know, and most of them are stories about empowered young girls going out and becoming more. You know, it's like very few of them actually have male protagonists. Like Aladdin is really about the only one that really has a male protagonist. You might say Beast from Beauty and the Beast, but like that's Belle's story more than it's Beast's.
Right.
You know, so it's like, and it spoke to everyone, boys and girls, which I think is really something amazing to look at. Like with all this like talk of like we need more strong female characters. Like Disney was doing that all the way through the 80s and 90s, and
absolutely,
and it appealed to boys and girls of like that certain age. You know, it's like
got it.
And it was really groundbreaking, and it like I said, it set the pattern. You know, it's like Lion King does the same thing, where it's like a story of someone going out and making something of themselves, catchy music, a couple fun color characters. You know, you have your Timon and Pumbaa, you have your clocks, your clock, and your candelabra. You know, it's like it's You know, it's a formula that they don't really deviate from, but it just works every time they plug something into it.
Carl feels me, and I'm validated.
Yes.
Boom.
I'm totally on board with Mike on this train.
Yeah. And it came from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got some more for you tomorrow, kids. So come on back here, and may the force be with you.
That ass.
Yeah!
Yeah!
I'm air guitaring somewhere. That's what it looks like when I air guitar. Thank you.